Have you ever felt stuck? Like you're working really hard, but just not getting anywhere? Well, today, we're going to dive into the fascinating philosophy of a writer named Xuefeng. It's a pretty unique and, honestly, a very practical way to think about finding meaning and peace in what can feel like a really chaotic world. All right, let's just jump right in with a classic thought experiment. Who do you think is happier? A king who has all the power and wealth you could imagine, or a beggar who has absolutely nothing? Now, according to this philosophy, the answer isn't about their circumstances at all. It's about who truly understands themselves. And that really brings us to the core of this whole thing. This is a pretty bold statement, right? It's basically saying that our frustrations don't come from the world around us, but from our own failure to look inward. This is a philosophy built on radical self-responsibility. So, to really get a handle on this, we're going to walk through 4 key ideas. We'll look at why we suffer. We'll talk about something called the law of social value, then a powerful life strategy, depth over breadth, and finally, we'll touch on the invisible forces that might just be shaping our destiny. Okay, first up, why do we suffer? Why do we feel unappreciated sometimes? Or why do we blame other people for our problems? According to Xuefeng, all these feelings, all this discontent, it all points back to one single fundamental issue. And that issue is a lack of self-knowledge. Simple as that. The idea is, when we don't really get ourselves, we just project all our dissatisfaction out onto the world. We blame our boss, our family, the universe, anyone but ourselves. So the very first step to a happier life is doing the hard work of looking in the mirror. So once we've started looking inward, we need to understand how we actually fit into the world. And this brings us to what the author calls the law of social value. And it's a pragmatic, almost harsh look at how human interaction really works. The idea is pretty simple. Respect isn't just given, it's earned. The value you provide to other people, that's the currency you use to gain respect and a sense of belonging. Now, it might sound cold, but this philosophy sees it as a fair, predictable law of nature. It's really rooted in our basic need for mutual benefit, just to survive. And this slide just simplifies the whole concept beautifully. Look at the circle of harmony on the left. Everyone brings something to the table, right? There's a give and take, a reciprocal value. But then, in the circle of exclusion, one person has nothing to offer, and so they're naturally pushed out. It's not meant to be personal. It's just about the balance of the system. You've heard this a million times, right? Like attracts like. People just naturally form circles based on shared value. So the crucial question isn't to get resentful about being left out, but to ask yourself, what value am I bringing to the circles I actually want to be a part of? Okay, so if value is the currency of life, how in the world do you create it? Well, that brings us to our third section, and it's a really powerful strategy, choosing depth over breadth. This is such a powerful metaphor. The author suggests that most of us live like this donkey. We're constantly busy, always moving, checking things off a to-do list, but at the end of the day, we're in the exact same spot we were yesterday. It's just the illusion of progress. So what's the solution? Be a drill, not a donkey. Instead of spreading your energy thin across a huge surface of trivial stuff, you focus all of it on a single point and you go deep. That's where the real progress happens. That's where real value is created. And this is the one thing principle. The idea is, by dedicating yourself to mastering one thing, you become incredibly efficient. Life gets simpler, more peaceful, because you're not being pulled in a million different directions. You're building true mastery. And look, this path to mastery isn't some overnight success story. It starts with the small stuff. It starts with doing the little things beautifully. That competence then builds a foundation for bigger challenges, and eventually, that leads to accomplishing great things. Greatness is really just built on 1,000 small, excellent actions. All right, finally, let's zoom out, way out. Beyond our own actions, this philosophy suggests that our lives are also shaped by forces we can't always see, this whole web of invisible influences. We've all had that feeling, haven't we? A string of bad luck that makes no sense, or a chance encounter that just changes everything. Well, the author actually tries to categorize some of these mysterious forces. And this is a pretty fascinating list. It ranges from things we can kind of understand, like the energy of your physical environment, that's feng shui, or the culture you grew up in, to more mystical ideas. Things like the tangible weight of other people's negative thoughts, or even a karmic legacy passed down from your ancestors. The point here isn't to try and control these things, but just to be aware that we're part of a much bigger interconnected system.
And this is the principle that supposedly governs that whole system, a kind of cosmic balance. It's described as a grand cosmic net. Every action you take, no matter how small, sends ripples through this net. Nothing is ever lost or forgotten. Every debt gets paid and every kindness eventually comes back around.
So, if you really believe in this cosmic net, then this becomes the most important rule for how to live. Your personal conduct is absolutely everything, because even a resentful thought creates a negative ripple that will, eventually, find its way back to you. So, to bring it all together, this philosophy gives us a three-part path to a meaningful life. First, know yourself. Second, create value through focused action. And third, cause no harm, because you understand you're part of a huge, interconnected whole.
And that leaves us with one final, powerful question to ask ourselves. Take a look at your daily life. Are you the donkey, just widening your path but staying in the same place? Or are you the drill, patiently deepening it? According to this philosophy, that choice is entirely yours.